Okay, guys, welcome back to episode 36 of Everything Everywhere All at Once, creating certainty and meaning in all the chaos and mayhem. And we were talking in the last episode about vibration, and this chaos is being driven by this vibratory field of energy that is in a chaotic pattern right now in preparation for the new harmonious, higher vibrational next level of consciousness that we're moving to in this chaotic process. It sounds crazy, like Nikola Tesla said, all great things start out being ridiculed, combated, or resisted. Like I said, the three phases of a new paradigm shift, which this is definitely a big paradigm shift to move out of our mind, literally, and into our heart, right? People are going to resist it. Why? Because it's change, number one. Number two, they're not used to it, and they don't like having to learn a new way of being. Too bad. It's going to have to happen, right? We're being driven out of our mind. We talked about the destabilization in the last episode, and all these, mass shootings are happening, the mental illness issue, and there's other things that are driving that as well, but the vibration is the key. And so rather than resist this, rather than try and push down this energy that's being forced out of our bodies, the lower vibrational energy, the emotions, the trauma that's caught up in the cells of our body that we push down and try to hide cannot be hidden. It's being pushed out onto the physical plane, which is why we're seeing these wars. One of the other things that so the next level we're going to talk about in the 4Ds to move into our heart, this heart-driven world and society. We talked about the prophecies of in the last episode about there will be wars and rumors of wars. Well, it also says that there'll be 1,000 years of peace and harmony. But we have to create peace in ourselves first. We have to create inner peace before we can create peace in the world. So we've got a lot of work to do, right? So the second D in the 4Ds of this 4D revolution is democratization. Now, I'm not talking politically here. But another thing that is destabilizing is our political systems around the world, right? It's all breaking apart in preparation for a new way of running our countries, running our lives, running our communities is going to emerge. It's coming, right? So the democratization, what do I mean by that? I mean the democratization of knowledge and information. AI has made the knowledge of the entire history of humanity available. Now, of course, AI has that as well, and people are a little bit worried about what AI is going to do with it. Is it going to control humanity? Maybe. But the bottom line is, we have the democratization of knowledge and information to everyone, everywhere, all at once. You combine that with the fact that internet is going to be available to everyone, everywhere, all at once because of satellites, very low orbiting satellites. We're going to blanket the earth with the ability to connect to the internet. And so everyone, everywhere, all at once is going to have access to all the knowledge and all the information of humanity. And that is going to mean that we have now the ability to tap into the creativity of the entire human race. Now, when you think about how niche that's been up until now and how that's just going to blow the doors open to how much creativity and what we're going to be able to do, it's extraordinary, right? So then we've got the democratization of opportunities. Now, what that means is everyone's going to have an equal opportunity. We're not going to have equal outcomes, right? That's not good. That's not nature. That's not natural, right? Everybody has to step up and do their part. We call that meritocracy, right? But there isn't really meritocracy in our world right now because so many people have control over different areas of our society. The elites, right? So, women are now having more opportunity. That's going to grow. Ethnicity. Right? So no matter what culture, where you're from in the world, what color your skin is, what religion you are, equal opportunities as we democratize information and democratize everything. So the elites have had, as I said, control over access to many things, the financial system, education, knowledge. It's been a bit of a big, an old boys club to a large extent. Let's be honest and let's be truthful, right? That's going away. They're not going to be able to control that anymore, which is good. Again, because we're going to be able to tap into a much wider and embrace, all the creativity of the entire world. That's just going to blow the doors off everything, as I've said. So the next process is going to be demonetize everything, right? So we live now in an atomic and a digital world, right? So in the atomic world, everything was a physical thing, a physical product. Now it's digitized, right? What does that do? It reduces the cost of goods to zero, right? And so in his book, Free, Chris Anderson writes about this, and you can get the book for free. You go on the internet and go to free.com. You can get his book for free. And he talks about free economics. I know it sounds crazy, but that is what is happening. That's going to make opportunities much more readily available to more people, because what do they say? There's only two things that can hold you back: time and money, right? Now, there's going to be no excuse. You can get into whatever you want to do without having any money and without having to go to school to get it. You can actually self-educate yourself using AI, right? So then we've got the decentralization of everything. So cryptocurrency is decentralizing the financial system, right? We're not going to need banks anymore. Blockchain is helping with this as well, both in the financial system and also in the business system. So blockchain is a way to create trust in a relationship without having an intermediary. So all the intermediaries are going to go away. Banks are intermediaries. To a large extent, attorneys, right? Then you've got realtors, mortgage brokers. All these intermediaries are there to create trust in a situation where once you have cryptocurrency and blockchain, for example, you and I could have a transaction. You could sell me your house directly. I can pay for you, pay you directly, and we don't need any intermediaries. That's just one example. Because the blockchain is a system. We're not going to get into exactly what blockchain is now, but what it does, it means the transaction can be safe and it can be trusted, right? And so that's huge. That's going to change things as well. So that's part of the decentralization. No more banks. Governments are going to lose their power, and the world is going to change again. Now, borders of countries have changed throughout history many, many, many times, right? And they're still changing. But we're not going to have the hard borders that we have today. Well, that we imagine we have today, because it's all created in the mind. If you go up into space and you check on the borders, you can see clearly, the border between Pakistan and India is right there, right? You see it. The border between France and Germany is so clear, right? No, there are no borders, right? We've talked about this. There are no physical borders. It's all imaginary. So we're going to live in countries that are also imaginary in our minds, that are created by social media and other groups that can connect from all over the world but create countries. We've talked about this before, right? So nation states, these networking groups, social media groups, are going to become massive and have the power to become countries, to have their own constitution, to have their own economies. It's beginning now. And you can create your own social media network right now. And I've been into that before in previous episodes. So these are the 4 Ds: destabilization, democratization, demonetize, and decentralize. These 4 Ds are going to drive this massive transformation into the 5th dimension, where we live from our heart and intuition, and we live in a more peaceful world. So we must look with new eyes, not these eyes, right? We need to see with our real eyes in order to realize the truth. And that's going to come from our heart and intuition. It's not going to come from the external world, which is going to drive you crazy, right? And how do you know who to trust? And you can't know who to trust. You've got to be so inner focus now, so that you can live life on your terms, create your own world. And I mean that, manifesting your own world. You already do, but you're just going to realize that and then be able to make it the way you truly want it, not the way you're programmed to do it. So a heart-centered world. Can you imagine that? I hope so. See it? It'll happen. You have to believe it first, manifest it, envision it, create vision boards. All right, well, that is the 4 Ds to our transformation into the 5th dimension, where we live from our heart and intuition. I look forward to the next episode. In the meantime, Saper Ord, dare to be wise.